What was it like in the booth in Calgary when you saw Scotty put the Russian five together in that game?
Well, we didn't know what to expect. I had played against the Russians in 1972 with Team Canada, and we knew that back then they didn't like to shoot much. They didn't run the net. They didn't run the goalie. They didn't screen a lot. They were so skilled, pass, 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 pass for the perfect one-time shot. I don't know the numbers, but I would guess the great Russian teams back in the day probably didn't even get 25 shots a game. We would have got 40 because we were shooting it from everywhere. But when he put those guys together in Calgary, all of that came back. And I believe the stat sheet shows the Calgary Flames at home that night got 8 shots on goal. They never touched the puck. It was ridiculous. And I think at one point in that broadcast, I said, you better get the Dramamine out because these guys are going to be dizzy real fast. They're going to get seasick. It was incredible to watch. They didn't like what they saw. They just went back and started over. It was like totally against everything we were ever taught. We were taught, as you know, in our system, dump the puck in,
Yeah.
go and get it, which I never agreed with because I would go, I don't understand this. Why are we giving it away and then we got to fight our brains out to try to get it back? It doesn't make sense to me. I didn't know the answer to that because in those days you didn't question what you're being told. It just didn't make sense to me. And then when you watch those guys, you went, huh, there we go. That's the part B that I didn't know about. Well, let's just start over. Why not? Nobody did it. But they did. It was amazing. Amazing. And that group of 5, phew, every one of them had a special trait about them. Vladdy was an absolute warrior, about Konstantinov. Yeah. Battle anybody and knock your brains right out in a good body check. Fetisov moved like a tank, but he had moves that would just mesmerize people. He'd make a quick body move or a fake, and they were gone, and he perfect pass up the middle. He was unbelievable at drawing forecheckers to him, moving the puck by. Fedorov was a triple thoroughbred. Absolutely incredible that he could take a game over with the skills that he had and the power. Of course, Larionov, as you mentioned, the professor, the thinking one, a great chess player, played the game like a chess man. Kozlov was what did they call him? He was like a water bug. He was tall but skinny, and he was elusive, and he could score. Those guys were just unbelievable, and to be able to have that memory is priceless for me, and any Red Wing fan that watched that happen. It's amazing.